call this meeting to order, and we'll move down to Section 2, approval of the agenda. 2.1, changes to agenda and approval of the agenda. We do have a couple of changes. Consent agenda added item 8.24, Triumph Gulf Coast pre-application grant funding. And we do have a deleted item, Superintendent's Human Resource Recommendations, item 9.9, employee termination is deleted. So I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move it.
Dr. White makes the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
A second.
Dr. Kelly makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. At this time, we have no recognitions, no visitors, and we do have an administrative personnel appointment. 5.1, appointment of Assistant Principal 1, 10-month Niceville High School. And Mr. Chambers.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bryant and school board members. So I'm excited to bring before you Mr. Robert, we kind of call him Bobby, so Bobby McElroy, as the person to be appointed for 10-month Niceville High School, assistant principal. And Robert McElroy Jr. is a proud product of the Okaloosa County School District. He attended Plough Elementary, Ruckle Junior High School, and is a 1988 graduate of Niceville Senior High School. Upon graduating from high school, Mr. McElroy enlisted and served our country in the United States Navy from 1989 to 1993. After his honorable discharge from the Navy in 1993, he attended and obtained his Associates of Arts from Okaloosa Walton Community College. He then attended the University of Florida, where he was awarded a Bachelor's of Arts degree from the College of Liberal Arts and Science. Mr. McElroy was accepted into the Pro-Teach program at the University of Florida and received his Master's of Education in Social Studies in 1999. And I think I have to stop for 1 second and say if I would have realized that this was a University of Florida graduate, we might be doing things differently. But not everyone, I guess, will go to Florida State. That's okay. Mr. McElroy started his career in public education with Okaloosa County in 2000, where he taught social studies to the students of Bruner Middle School, Lewis Middle School, and Fort Walton Beach High School. While still teaching at Fort Walton Beach High School, he made the decision to attain his master's degree in educational leadership from the University of West Florida. In 2019, he joined Baker School as the Dean of Students before being appointed to assistant principal at Meigs Middle School in July 2019. Mr. McElroy and his family are excited that he'll be returning home to Niceville High School as one of the assistant principals to soar with the Eagles once again. Mr. McElroy.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chambers. So do I have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation?
I'd like to make that motion.
Dr. Kelly makes the motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Ms. Vancheck makes the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
First of all, I would just like to say thank you to all the board members. It means a lot to me to be in front of all of you. Many of you have known me a majority of my life. Many of you have known me throughout my career in education, and to be able to be appointed to Niceville High School and to have that opportunity means an enormous amount to myself, not only just to me, to my family as well. We're ecstatic and extremely excited. My mom and dad are very proud, and Mr. Chambers, I want to thank you for that opportunity, and I will not let you down. All right. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, for that. There were a lot of times where I wanted to give up, but I didn't. I want to thank my family, my wife and my children, and my mom and dad have been a rock for me to lean on during this time, and I appreciate that. I appreciate all of our family and friends that have been supportive in this role. I appreciate Ms. Lamb giving me the opportunity to be an assistant principal for her at Meigs. I learned a lot of things, and I made a lot of good relationships with the children and the students and the faculty and staff there. They are very important to me, and I will miss a lot of them. And I am also looking very forward to working for Mr. Morello at Niceville High School. I'm very excited about getting back home and being with the Eagles at Niceville. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to doing many great things for Niceville High School and Mr. Morello.
Fantastic. Dr. Kelly, would you join me?
While we've got a down moment, I will share with the board and everybody in this room that with the addition of Mr. McElroy to the administrative staff at Niceville High School, every school-based administrator at NHS, assistant principals, athletic director, principal, is a Niceville High School graduate. I'm not saying that makes it better than anybody else, but what I'm saying is that for a kid coming up through NHS, that's how special that school is to us. And like I said to Dr. Kelly coming in, it's like eventually the mothership calls you home, and you don't deny her call. You go back to the mothership. So we're happy to have it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being your NHS bag there.
All right. All right, so now we will move down to Section 6, Public Comment, 6.1, members of the public desiring to address the school board with Form MIS 5241, public input and/or discussion of agenda items. Okay, so seeing that there's nobody here, we'll move down past, Section 7 was workshop only. Section 8 is consent agenda. I need a motion for approval of consent agenda.
I move.
Ms. Evancheck makes a motion,
I'll second.
and Dr. Kelly makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Evancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. So now we'll go down to Section 9. And the first two items are for information only, so we'll go to Section 9.3, cleared certification requirements and issuance of contracts for the 2020 through 2021 school year. I need a motion to approve, please.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Evancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.4, out-of-field report for the 2020 through 2021 school year. I need a motion to approve.
I move.
Ms. Gardner makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Evancheck. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Evancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.5, employment separations. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Dr. Kelly makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Evancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, motion carries 5-0. 9.6, personnel recommendations. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Dr. Kelly makes the motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Evancheck. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Evancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.7, employee reassignment. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Ms. Gardner makes the motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Evancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.8, employee transfers. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move. Oh,
That's
sorry.
Ms.
That's all right.
Evancheck makes the motion. Dr. Kelly is second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Evancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.9 was deleted. 9.10, reinstatement reimbursement of sick leave due to line of duty illness, injury, medical examination. I need a motion to approve.
Move it.
Dr. White makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. 9.11, leave without pay. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
A motion by Dr. Kelly. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. Discussion agenda, there was nothing moved from the consent agenda, so we are now to construction program owners representatives business. And 11.1, Dr. Kelly, I'll turn it over to you.
Nothing new to report right now, but after we have our next meeting, I should have something new to report.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Kelly. And we will move to 11.2, program number 6, task order number 2, phase 2, school security projects for various school sites. And I need a motion to approve.
Move it.
Dr. White makes the motion. Do we have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Vancheck. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. Nothing under section 12, and we are now to Mr. McInnes's business.
No report tonight.
Okay. And Mr. Superintendent, just so you know, we do have a public hearing in just a minute. So if you want, I'm just going to wait and we're going to go straight into public hearing. So board members, if you will, in just a second, we'll go into public hearing. And that will be section 17. And public hearing is called for 6:15, so we have 1 minute to go, so. Okay, so 17.1, public hearing for adoption of new school board policy 01-30, Title IX policy prohibiting sexual harassment. Is there anybody from the public here to speak on this particular item? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve.
I
I'll
move.
Okay, so Ms. Gardner, I heard you first. Dr. Kelly, I'll give you the second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. Section 17.2, public hearing for adoption of a new job description for risk management analysis. Is there anybody from the public here to speak on this item? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Vancheck. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Gardner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. So now we will go back up to superintendent's business, and 14.1 is informational only. And so, Mr. Chambers, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Just want to share just a little bit of information. So first of all, just for the board's awareness, I had the pleasure in December to meet with a group of teachers, met with some building reps, and we were able to get some valuable feedback as to, I'll call it, the state of the school district right now from teachers' perspectives. And I think that is always a good thing to do. We did have a principals meeting where we addressed a number of those topics, and I will be sending out an email to all OCSD just to address some of the concerns and kind of what we've done with those concerns, or just given answers to questions that were asked. So just letting you know that that will be coming soon. You'll see it. Also, I'm excited this year to, in essence, put out a state of the school district. And with some of the difficulties that we've had this year, because I think it's a very fair statement to say that this has been a difficult year. But with difficulty, I think there's been a number of individuals, countless individuals, who have risen up and done miraculous things. But the state of the school district, in essence, will give some attention to some of the difficulties that we've had, but also given information specifically to parents in the community on COVID and our response to COVID, some of the statistics with COVID in the school district. Also, sharing with parents kind of where we are right now with the FSA and EOCs, and not only my input to the state, but school superintendents across the state of Florida to really look at this year's FSA and end of course exams more diagnostically rather than some of the high stakes measures, for this test, with this being such a difficult year. Items such as teacher evaluation, student progression, school grades, in a year like this with all the uncertainty and changes. Not that we don't necessarily give the test, but that we use it as a diagnostic measure to get even better in the upcoming school year. So we'll be addressing a little bit of that. Also, giving some information on the half-cent sales tax, specifically, year one plans, and then going forward, what some of those plans might look like, not to the nth degree, but what some of those plans might look like. And then giving just a little bit of information on we're a high-performing school district once again. And I think the high-performing school district started in 2009, and we've been a high-performing school district every year, I think, besides 2 of those years. But we'll mention that specifically in this state of the school district. And then lastly, the last 2 items that we'll address is what we've done with ESC over the last 2 years, and then where we are with CTE and what we would like to do going forward. So we've talked a little bit about, the next generation of Okaloosa schools, and this also kind of sets the stage for that as we move forward. So excited to put some information out to not only our school district, but also to the community. And then I know Dr. Kelly is going to probably have an announcement that she might make, so I'm not going to mention that. But I will say, Ms. Ivanchek, I got a little ahead of myself this past weekend with social media, and I congratulated Baker for winning the state championship in weightlifting, only that I misread it, and it was had a little bit of information that maybe was confusing, that it was the districts. So I'll save that that tweet for another couple weeks when maybe they win the state championship. But I appreciate all the great things that are going on. It's the end of the first semester. The second semester has officially started, and just look forward to ending this school year strong and having an excellent second semester. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. And so we'll move down to section 15, board members' announcements and requests for information, and I'll start with Ms. Ivanchek tonight.
Thank you. Yes, and you're right. The Gators are continuing to do great things. I'm very proud of them with those lady weightlifters. I wanted to give a report tonight briefly as the board's representative to our foundation. We met this past week, and at this time, it's been great because we've been able to maintain 55 students with mentors. And under the circumstances, that's challenging because many of these we're doing through Zoom, and it just, you can imagine the limitations of trying to motivate somebody. We all know what that is. However, we are maintaining, and in fact, we're pretty optimistic because we expect to graduate 14 of those, but we have already indicated to the state that we are going to have 17 additional scholarships to fill that with the additional 3. And we were fortunate to receive a very generous amount given to us for the foundation and the mentoring from a living trust of a local resident's family. And that's helping us pay for those scholarships that run about $4,000 each. So that was very fortuitous to get that money. But we are continuing with those scholarships. And I know on our district website, there's information on how you can become a mentor, how you can donate to the scholarship fund, and all those kinds of informations, because we do want to get more and more mentors. That's the whole piece, is we have to have that mentor to work with those students. I know Mr. Bryant's been a mentor for years, and it's a very rewarding thing to do. It's just a lot of fun. So just wanted to give you that report. So we're moving forward. Of course, we've been able in the past to do some fundraising, which of course nobody can really do right now, but getting that trust has really helped us continue. Also want to say, looking forward, next week, we're going to be honoring our employees, not only Teacher of the Year, but our Ed support. I was on the Teacher of the Year committee, and I'm telling you, great things, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to recognize these employees because they're the ones that are out there really holding us up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vancheck. And Ms. Gardner?
Not tonight.
Nothing tonight? Thank you. Dr. Kelly?
I do have a couple of Niceville things to say. First of all, congratulations to the Niceville High School cheerleaders at state. I know we congratulated them last year and maybe the year before too. They are on a streak and they work hard. They work hard year round. So congratulations to those girls and their supporters. They work hard too. They're constantly fundraising and helping them practice and get to those places where they need to go as they go along the competition route. So congratulations to all of that tribe. And Niceville High School's quarterback, Trey Rainwhite, was named Mr. Football for the state of Florida. And if you don't know, he then joins the rank of people like Tim Tebow and others. So that's a pretty fabulous thing to be nominated, not just nominated, but to have made that goal. Also, this is Celebrate Literacy Week in Florida. So if you're at a school or invited to a school, drop in. Those schools always do fabulous things for Literacy Week. And we have 14 work days until President's Day holiday. And for students and parents who are keeping track, like you know I do, someone mentioned that we just finished the first semester. So we are starting the second semester, and 30 days out now, you will be at the end of your third quarter. So students and parents start working hard, work hard now so that that last quarter, when all the activities, end of year things are up and about, you don't have to worry and have that brow sweat about, gosh, I got to work on my GPA. I didn't work as hard last quarter. So just remember that. And lastly, just to say best wishes to all of our Teacher of the Year finalists. I know that no matter who wins, they represent all of our phenomenal instructional people in our schools. So thank you. That's all.
Dr. Kelly, since you're good on the calendar, when's the 100th day of school?
I think it's February the 2nd.
February 2nd. Okay,
Since you
thank
mentioned that, I just looked at that today and almost wrote that down. I said, oh, somebody else would get that one.
Thank you.
Groundhog's Day?
Groundhog's Day.
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah,
There you go.
Groundhog's Day too, and a famous birthday in our family too.
Dr. White?
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Nothing this evening, except I just asked folks if they're interested to take a look at the remarks on Thursday's workshop concerning the budget and so forth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. White. And so I have nothing tonight, so we'll go to section 16, public comment, 16.1. And this is the 2-minute version of public comment. Members of the public desiring to address the school board, Form MIS 5241, public input and/or discussion of agenda items. And is there anybody here to speak? Okay. Hearing and seeing nobody, so we'll go around the room. Rita? Lee? Jordan? Come on up, Miss Alphabet.
Good evening, board members. I know that maybe not the last school board workshop, but the one before that, Ms. Vancheck had mentioned the vaccine and the governor and teachers being added to the frontline workers. I wanted to let you know that our state union, FEA, has come up with a plan and they are pushing for the governor to be able to add teachers to that. I know that OCEA has adopted that as well, and we are going to be pushing for that as well. And as the president of OCEA, I have written the governor, and I just kind of wanted to let you know what I had said. In my email, I said, Dear Governor DeSantis, on behalf of the Okaloosa County educators who are on the front lines daily teaching our students in the classrooms, I implore you to revise your executive order to include teachers as essential workers for the purposes of receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. Our teachers are many of our teachers immune compromised, have serious underlying health conditions, or live with family members who have serious mental or medical conditions. These teachers, even those who are considered healthy, are exposing themselves daily to the possibility that they can acquire COVID-19 in their classrooms with potentially fatal consequences for themselves and their family members. Our request comes amid warnings from the federal government that Florida is entering its most deadly phase in its coronavirus fight, beginning with since the pandemic began. Okaloosa County Schools is one of the largest employers in Okaloosa County, Florida. Our teachers fuel the economy, the economic engine in our county, but they also have to be healthy to do so. Please move educators up at the priority list so that they can continue to serve our students in good health and safety. Teachers are indeed essential workers on the front lines during a pandemic, and they deserve no less. And I would like to urge, I know that Superintendent Chambers, he has made some different calls, but I would like to be able to ask that you guys support us in this and maybe reach out to who you know, reach out to your local legislators, and then also reach out to the governor, school board members as well, so we can get the teachers. And it's not just saying that teachers have to get the vaccine. It's for those that want the vaccine, and that's the biggest thing. We're not saying that everybody's going to get it because that's their personal right, but for them to have the opportunity based on what the CDC says we should be doing. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up and an update on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Alpert, before you
Yes, sir.
walk away, so you're talking about teachers. So let me ask you this.
All school, but I only speak for the teacher side of it, but I
understand
know
that.
that Patrick does
So,
do
so-
too.
So I just want to make sure
Yes.
y'all, including everybody, that would be like bus drivers and.
Yes,
yeah.
the ed support personnel, they are too. I know that Patrick's not here tonight because of his own family complications for COVID and things like that. So I can only really speak for the teacher side, but I know that his side as well is going for that. I know that he was planning on sending out his own letter. I don't know if he has done that yet, but I'm sure that he would be more than willing to let you know when he does.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So do you have any information on that, Mr. Chambers?
So the information, so myself, superintendents across the state have asked for this to also be a part of the emphasis. I know our superintendents association sent a letter to the governor's office as well. I think as it stands currently, as we know, educators are not part of that that emphasis, but we hope that that will change hopefully in the coming weeks or months.
What about our legislators? Have you had an opportunity to speak with any of them, particularly about that?
Our local ones,
Yeah.
no ma'am, just straight to the governor's office.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lightboard? Mr. Horton? All right, this meeting's adjourned.